Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel, and this one's a lot of fun. Kim Gensler was on television in another interview just the other day, and it wasn't quite as friendly an environment as he's typically accustomed to, let's say. And not that he was even thrown terribly hardball questions, but even like the wimpiest questions, if not tailor-made for him by Elizabeth Warren. It can throw him off. And I'm letting the video play. It's silent in the background here. You can watch it for those of you that care. Look at the screen here. He starts getting exasperated. So I'll keep going on with my content in the way I want to cover this because I transcribed what he had to say. But I just wanted to note, his mannerisms are non-characteristic in this video from what I've seen from him. His hands, the gesturing all over the place, having trouble with a couple what I would say really not, it's like fine, not the most friendly questions, but not particularly difficult. Should not be hard for him. And especially when the second host jumps in and asks that question a little bit later in this clip that's playing. Look at the hands. See, they're already going. Look at the hands going. The hands are all over the place. Oh my God, gesturing. Oh my gosh. And he was actually made to watch a video of Brad Garlinghouse critiquing the SEC. And he did go to his, the typical, the canned responses, some of it that, you'd expect from Kim Gensler. But still, I kind of got a kick out of this just because he was uncomfortable. And anybody with half a brain that's watching this can see that this guy is not interested in what is intellectually honest here. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say, all right? I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so shout out and credit to XRP Darren who shared this. That's how I came across this on Twitter here. And look at those hands going, man. And so XRP Darren shared this clip and wrote, "Ol' slithering snake Gensler responds to Brad Garlinghouse's claim that the SEC is regulating by enforcement." And so the first host, whose name is Caroline, says the following. What one particular builder in the ecosystem, the Ripple founder, had to say a little earlier, if you could take a listen. So I'll pause to note, the clip that she pulled up after stating that is what was on Bloomberg's television channel just the other day. And she did mistakenly state the Ripple founder. Brad Garlinghouse obviously is not the founder of Ripple. I believe he didn't join Ripple until 2015. And when he joined, he was not initially the CEO. I forget what his position was. He's one of the top guys, fine. But he took over the CEO position from Chris Larson at some point after that. Definitely not a founder of Ripple, though. But the host wanted Kim Gensler to check out this clip of Brad Garlinghouse. And so here's what Brad Garlinghouse had to say. And this is a transcription. "The SEC is kind of playing offense and attacking the whole industry. This is not a healthy way to regulate an industry. Regulation through enforcement, as opposed to what we're seeing in other countries where they're doing the work, right? They're codifying. They're creating a framework that allows an industry to grow while protecting consumers." And I think that's really where the United States is like. So I just gotta tell you, it's not every day that you see Gary Gensler put on the spot, forced to listen to somebody who his organization is trying to sue into oblivion, making salient points here. And look, I've made this point before too. It's like you don't see any sort of massive quantity of complaints in other, in other aspects of what the SEC is regulating, just in a general sense. I mean, look at stocks. Do you see multiple firms, trying to figure out how to register, stock offerings? Is there any sort of confusion there? Isn't it kind of peculiar that it's only happening with cryptocurrencies? Might that be a sign that something is amiss there, despite what Kim Gensler claims? And so, the host, after sharing that clip, said, "Now, Chair Gensler, I'm pretty sure you might say, well, look, a founder in that sort of business might be saying this, but what about some of these players? We've spoken to many who have been part of previous administrations who are not advisors to these companies. I'm worried a little bit about the holistic nature of really trying to regulate. I'm worried it really is more about enforcement than rules of the road at the moment." So there you go. Gary Gensler, I'm telling you, I've seen an endless quantity of interviews from him. Now, that's not a hardball question, but he's not used to those types of questions. Not that he's literally never gotten one like that, but he was caught off guard here, and it resulted in his hands going all over the damn place. Like a wild and wacky arm flailing inflatable tube man, you know? Woo. That's exactly what he's like. He's just all over the damn place here. And again, this isn't something that's hard, but the host was on point here, noting that these are people that some of them, frankly, don't even have a dog in the fight. They're just observing that what is going on here is not remotely reasonable. And so here's what Gensler had to say. Caroline, there's nothing incompatible with crypto and our securities laws. Our securities laws were brought about to protect the investing public against fraud and schemes and manipulation. And it was through this idea of full, fair, and truthful disclosure, registering with the SEC when you're raising money from the public and the public is anticipating a profit. It's pretty straightforward, actually common sense approach to helping the public in investing. So let's pause to note right here. He knows he's lying. And that's why he's so despicable. It's one of many reasons he's a disgusting human so far as I'm concerned, because he knows there's no way to register a decentralized cryptocurrency. And he also knows that even if you create a centralized cryptocurrency, that, like say you do, and this has actually happened. I made a video about this within the last, I can't remember how long ago, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 days ago. It was in the last week, I believe. There's more than one firm that has actually created a centralized cryptocurrency and registered it. But once a cryptocurrency becomes decentralized, you can't control it. You don't know who's participating on the network, and you can't, at that point, actually register it. It's literally impossible. It cannot happen. And so he knows this. It's a bold-faced lie what he's stating right here. Just come in. That's the whole crap. Come in and talk to us. Yeah, all right. No, Kim Jong-Gensler. It doesn't work like that. And you absolutely know that. And then he says, so this broad field, we have one goal at the SEC, is for them to come into compliance. Whether it's the tokens, that's basically the people raising money or offering these tokens, and it's also what I'll call the storefronts. They can call themselves crypto exchanges, lending, or staking as a service, or other intermediaries to come into compliance and ensure that they don't mislead the public. Folks, who does he think he's protecting here? Well, obviously the answer is no one. He's calling cryptocurrency exchanges storefronts. It's all sort of this big scheme. Maybe they're all one big common enterprise. Maybe it's, and actually, and this point has been brought up before. Why the hell would it be the case that Ripple, which didn't create XRP, would be the common enterprise? I remember this being discussed before Ripple got sued. It's like, if they are, then why isn't Coinbase? If you're talking about, participants in any ecosystem with any coin, why are you handpicking just this one? And it's not logical. It doesn't make any damn sense. But Gary Gensler, he got a little bit emotional about it, got his hands flailing around there, and then he went to his canned answer. And this is where the second host jumped in, and the second host said, and he didn't like this one either. He got even more, physical in terms of the hands flailing everywhere here. But the second host said, Mr. Gensler, thank you for your time. You've set out the goal here. And what I want to ask you about is the results of your actions. You have asked a number of names in the crypto industry to register their products with the SEC. Very few have. In particular, those that are most known to us, the bigger names in the industry, why are they not reacting on your requests? And that did throw him off. And that's why, if you watch right after that question, that's where he really got the arms up. Because he knows he's lying. He knows that he's lying right here. It's not that everybody out in the crypto space wants to break the damn law. That is not the case. Almost everybody wants to be law-abiding. Almost every single actor in the space. Especially if you're talking about the bigger names, the developers of the bigger projects. Of course that's the case. Duh. And so he's just asking a straightforward question, Gary Gensler. Let's ask about the results of your actions. You're saying come to compliance. How come nobody's doing it? And again, I'll tell you the real answer. Again, and I already said it, because it's literally impossible. But he just keeps saying this. The people that they're not in the crypto. I mean, if they're watching this, then maybe they'll fall for it. They don't know any better. Hard to blame them. But he's making crap up. And so you know what Gary Gensler's response was to this? And it is funny. I mean, it's disgusting because he's lying, but it's still kind of funny because it's so stupid and absurd. He said, because again, the question here being, why aren't the bigger names in the industry, why aren't they reacting to your requests? Why aren't they just registering? You said there's a form on the website. Why aren't you just register? Why aren't they registering? How come almost none of them are doing it? And Gary Gensler says, well, the law is the law, and they need to come in and properly follow the laws, and we will work with them to do that. He didn't even have an answer. Why aren't they doing it? And then his response is, well, the law is the law. You didn't answer the damn question. You little punk-ass Biff. That's what Mike Tyson would say. And they need to come in and properly follow the laws. That's what he says. Literally impossible. It's just infuriating when you see this stuff here. And so there's no shortage of information on this. Here's a random article I just happened to highlight just for the sake of this video, just to make the point. It's from Daily Coin. Ripple CEO, U.S. is falling behind over SEC's XRP lawsuit. Everybody knows that this is the case. This isn't a surprise. He's just trying to trick people who are not informed on the topic, because that's the only people that he can fool. Who else is falling for this? And so, in this article, kind of highlighted some of the stuff that was stated in the Bloomberg article with Brad Garlinghouse, and not article, the video clip on television the other day, which I covered. I don't want to go into great detail on that because I had talked about it already. But John Deaton's crypto law organization shared that video clip, and John Deaton's crypto law organization on Twitter wrote, referencing Brad Garlinghouse, he is right. And it's been true since the beginning. Now everyone sees what so many XRP holders saw the moment they read the complaint and heard what the SEC was alleging. And what he's talking about, of course, is the fact that everything that's crypto is under attack in the United States. And full court press at this point. It's release the Kraken. That's what the SEC has done. It's basically their shock and awe campaign. That's what they're trying to do. It's the shock and awe campaign, and they're actually they are acting in conjunction with other agencies. So it actually is getting worse. I mean, it's the worst attack on crypto that I've seen. And it's not that crypto will cease to exist in the United States. I actually don't think that's even the ultimate desired income. Not in totality anyway. I think what John Deaton speculates actually makes a lot of sense, and we'll see what happens. But it's basically attack crypto because the big players at this point. There's some of the people that were some of the earliest players since the earliest days of crypto, and won't be surprised at all to see a lot of these early players like Ripple continue to get attacked, and your Coinbases of the world, and all them, so that the legacy, the entities in legacy finance like BlackRock. So on and so forth, those types of legacy financial entities won't be surprised if they ultimately get a bigger piece of this as, the earlier players in the space continue to get knocked out. And so, again, John Deaton's crypto law organization shared that, and there was this clip of Brad Garlinghouse the other day on Bloomberg, and that was retweeted by somebody named Daddy Linder. Nothing personal against the guy, but it's rare to come across somebody who actually sides with the SEC, but I love opposing viewpoints, so I thought I'd just highlight this real quick. So this individual on Twitter retweeted that from Crypto Law and wrote, when SEC was going after unregistered coin offering, ICO, he didn't say the SEC is attacking crypto space. The narrative changed when Ripple get the lawsuit and said it was an attack on crypto. Clearly not. You, Ripple, are in the camp of unregistered ICO, just more sophisticated. So, look, again, I'm going to challenge the idea, not the individual. What ICO, but more sophisticated? It literally doesn't fit the definition of that. It literally does not. Initial, that I in ICO stands for initial. You understand, right, that XRP existed before Ripple, the company, existed, right? So it literally cannot be that. But that's not even the biggest point. In fact, check out what attorney John Deaton had to say, because he actually responded to this individual and broke it down, just challenging the idea. And attorney Deaton's absolutely correct. And it's just amazing to me that if anybody's interested in the long-term viability of crypto, and even if you just come in as a blank slate, I don't know how you don't recognize the pure logic that attorney Deaton's dropping here. It's just pure logic. And so he says, had the SEC limited its allegations to when, where, and how Ripple and its executives offered/sold XRP, you might be able to argue that. However, as you know, the SEC did not limit its claims to Ripple, but attacked the token itself, including secondary sales independent of Ripple. There isn't a single case in 76 years since Howey that has found the subsequent sale of an investment contract to also be a security, and not one case that has found the underlying asset in an investment contract to be a security. The SEC's claims are in bad faith and meritless. Yeah, actually, that's something I did want to say a little bit earlier in the video, and then it just jogged my memory. So, like, even, if you're a firm, one of the few firms on the planet that was able to register a cryptocurrency back when it was centralized, if you're able to pull that off, just understand, when you stop reporting to the SEC and your cryptocurrency is now decentralized, that secondary market transactions, like those are still happening, and the SEC can still come back and bite you. They absolutely can. And if you look at what's being argued in the Ripple lawsuit by the SEC, everything, including secondary market transactions, are included here. And if you look at the library case, even just holding a token, even if you're not selling, just holding a token makes you liable, because that's considered a quote-unquote offer even if you don't sell it. And that's something that I didn't know for most of the last couple of years. But even if you don't sell the token, it can be considered an offer, even just purely happening. And the judges can just come up with everyone. And that happened in the library case, which is pure insanity, I know. But that's why it's like, even if you go in and you're operating in good faith, and even if you register back, you say you start your own cryptocurrency, say it's centralized, and so you can track all the transactions, say you're able to do that because it's basically at that point a database if you control it. What the hell is the difference? And so you can see all the transactions on it, you control it, you can roll things back, you can do whatever you want if you got those types of controls. But what happens when you don't have those controls? Because you're not, if you think you're safe, even if you're able to pull that off and quote unquote register with the SEC, good luck. Cross your fingers, hope you don't get sued, because that sure as hell isn't a guarantee. And so then Attorney Deaton says, any lawyer from the SEC who stands up in court or files a brief and argues the tokens themselves, the software code, are securities per se, including in the secondary market, should be ashamed. You must have a faithful allegiance to the law as a federal prosecutor / enforcement lawyer. Spot on, Attorney Deaton. It's just offensive. Like, they think we're all idiots. They don't even care. It's not even about that. They know that we know. And they know that we know that they're lying. It's like they know we're not falling for the facade. They just do it anyway. They don't care. They don't give a damn. These are monsters, these people. These are absolutely despicable humans. And to the casual observer who doesn't know anything about crypto, maybe you find it compelling. Like, I don't know the government. I guess I trust the government. I don't know what to do with my hands. How to get my show this morning? Well, that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping for that type of response. But again, it's repulsive and it's harming real people in real life. Really burns my biscuits, folks. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon family sedan.